I said we'd look at questions. What do we got?
We got some questions here.
We got some good questions?
Yeah, let me pull up the first one here. It was, okay. As a business who has access to capital at 8% interest rate on 5-year term for a longer term investment versus spending cash for it but depleting half our cash on hand, would we keep dry powder or borrow?
So what was the rate they're going to get?
8% interest rate for a 5-year term.
5-year term. 8% on 5-year term.
Yep. Or spend half the cash on hand for the same investment.
Got it. So it depends on what you mean by cash on hand. If your cash on hand was equal to 2, 3, or 4 months, preferably at least 3 to 4 months total cash needs. So if your cash on hand equals payroll plus rent and some criticals for 4 years, for 4 months, probably wouldn't do it. But if you have 5 or 6 months on hand, I might use half the cash rather than paying 8%. On the other side, 8% is not horrifying. It's greater than 2%. It's much greater than what LIBOR, which is a common index that's used to determine business lending rates, has been. But I might be tempted to maybe only use 1/3 of my cash on hand and go ahead and get credit at 8 for 5 years, because that's not crazy. That's absolutely not crazy. So let's do a little case study right now. I'm going to assume you got $1 million. I'm going to do that right now. Financial calculator. So let's assume that you're borrowing $1 million for 5 years, $1 million, and we'll go 5 years at 8%. That's 20 grand a month. 20 grand a month. Now, if you come out later and you get that refinanced at 4%, that's only 18 grand a month. So take a look at that. The difference between 4% and 8% is from 18 grand to 20 grand a month. It's only a difference of $2,000. Now let's take it all the way down to, because remember, 5 years is the issue. Since it's only 5 years, the interest that's in there for 5 years is not massive compared to the principal you're paying off. Now let's get all the way back down to 3%. 18 grand on the nose, 4%, 18.5, 8%, 20,002. So you're only talking about a difference of 2 grand a month. I would be tempted, because it's only on a 5-year basis, to keep a lot of that powder dry and go with the loan, because remember, the majority of the loan, and I'm gonna do the amortization for you right now. I'm gonna look at it right now. Boom, boom.
And at 5 years, it's only 60 payments.
Yeah, so your interest rate, your total interest is only gonna be 200 grand on $1 million, and your principal is 14 grand a month. So in other words, you're spending 14 grand a month paying off, the loan that you got. So I would be tempted to take the 8%, refinance it later, but keep my powder dry. So there's a quick case study. And by the way, I do these things all day long on my neck. People call me with these questions all day long. But that would be my answer there. I'd be very tempted to take the 8% as long as, and keep my powder dry, because cash is always king.